This is going to begin as a public apology. I need to apologize to the cashiers at the Justice and Rue 21 stores in Lexington, Kentucky. I am very sorry that I scared you today. I'd like to thank you for your great customer service and for correcting me about the ages that your products are aimed for. I had erroneously walked into both stores thinking that they were for grown-ups. Thank you for correcting me. Apparently, the sexy lingerie that I saw in your store is actually aimed for Justice, ages 6 to 11, and Rue 21, ages 11 to 16. Thank you very much for correcting me. If you'll excuse me, when I am finished with my coronary, I'm going to take my inhaler, have a few puffs of it to quell the oncoming asthma attack, and then call Chris Hansen on your dumbasses. Sincerely, someone not a pedophile! So let me explain what happened. I just bought a dress off of Amazon.com. It's a lovely little white dress with little gems encrusted onto it. Very, very Miss Elizabeth. If you don't know who Miss Elizabeth is, Google. Of course, I've got some special events coming up. I want to look pretty. Obviously, this isn't the hair for it, but more on that another time. Got a special event coming up, wanted to look pretty, bought my dress, bought my shoes, bought some earrings, and then I thought, you know what, I would really like some other accessories. And the shoes I bought kind of don't go with the outfit the way I thought they would, so just buy some new shoes, new accessories. I just gotten paid, figure, why not, just gonna nip into these stores real quick, grab what I need, skedaddle. So I walked into Justice, and the store is fantastically neon. I myself like neon colors. I will admit, though, that when you see neon colors on a neon white background, you tend to go blind temporarily. So, for a little while, all I saw were just bright colors and cheetah print. And I thought, wow, I really like bright colors and cheetah print. Let's see what else they have here. So when my eyes began to finally refocus, I went looking for accessories. I went looking for bracelets and lip balm and necklaces. But the first thing I actually saw were dollies. And I don't mean Salvador Dali. I don't mean dolly as in what you push when you're moving. I mean dolly. Like what a little girl plays with. Like Barbie, not the classy, overpriced ones in the catalog, just regular $5 Barbie. Freight Train sold separately, Barbie. Ever After High, Monster High, Bratz, Moxie, things that a little girl might be interested in playing with. I'd like it if these dolls had more clothes, but that's my personal preference, being not a pedophile. I tried to look for jewelry, which is all I was intending to buy from Justice. And I turned around, and I saw this little pipsqueak. Now, from about here up, I could tell she was 6 years old. She had little blonde pigtails. She looked like a Powerpuff Girl. From the neck down, Las Vegas hooker. Now, my knee-jerk reaction is to look at this creature and say, "Where is your mother?" I didn't have to look far. Bitch was just a minute and a half away from the child with a stretch of fabric, and she said, "Oh my God, this looks so hot on you." The stretch of fabric said juicy on the back. In the first place, this woman was 35 years old, and you could tell by the lines on her face that she's had a hard existence. But at that age, 35, you know better. Okay, in the first place, you're 35, you are not going to talk like a Valley girl anymore. Second of all, it's 2014. We don't use Valley girl speech, okay? Take that shit, put it back in 1989 with the Babysitters Club, okay? Stop it. In the third place, you cannot in good faith tell me that you are a good mother to this child when you are trying to put her into a pair of pants that says Juicy on the back after you'd already done dressed her ass up like a Las Vegas hooker? Have you lost your motherfucking mind? If that was my kid, she'd be wearing Garanimals, okay? I want to see us. I don't care if it's like 90 degrees, summertime. Kid that small, you're wearing a sweatshirt, and you're going to be happy about it. And it's going to be an oversized sweatshirt. I don't want anybody to even know you have legs. That's how dressed I want you to be at 6 years old. I decided to leave Justice before the police showed up because I feel that if you go to Justice and you are above a certain age and you do not have a child with you, the police should be notified. I took a breath outside and I went to Rue 21. And silly me, I looked at the sign. Now, for those who don't know, back in 1999 when I first heard about Rue 21 and the other stores that said 21 in their names, when I was 12, going on 13, 21 meant 21 and older. Grown-ups shop here. That's what I thought. Silly me. So I walk into Rue 21 expecting grown-up clothes. Now, I walked in and the only thing I was able to see at first was a Captain America t-shirt, which is age appropriate from the time you are 0 until you're dead. So if you're wearing a Captain America shirt, I don't care. It's age appropriate. But before I had a chance to look at the Captain America shirt, see if there's any other Marvel shirts, this very rotund woman jumped in front of me. And she was like, "Hey, welcome to Rue 21. How can I help you? How can I help you? What do you need? What do you need? What do you need?" I thought at first this woman may have missed a Ritalin prescription or two. And then I realized, oh, I have a satchel purse with Hello Kitty on it. Okay? Hello Kitty. Now, even though this is a small purse by some women's standards, it's still a satchel with a very open inside. So, of course, anybody who's ever worked retail is automatically thinking, oh my God, shoplifter. Now, I've never shoplifted. I hope nobody shoplifts. It's the stupidest crime you could ever commit because there are cameras all over the store. We have gotten to the point now where we have ceiling tiles that serve as cameras. If you are a shoplifter, you are stupid and should be shot. But I respect this woman because I'm thinking, if I was in your shoes, I'd imagine the same thing. I used to work retail. That's what we're trained to look for. We're trained to look for that and tote bags. By the way, if you're a hipster, you may want to stop shopping because we're looking at your totes. So, I'm lost anyway. I haven't been to a Rue 21 since I was 12. So, you know, she's like bopping around all over the place. I decided to tell the truth. I'm a little lost. I've never been at this specific store before. And I'm looking for shoes and a necklace. Could you please help me? I don't know where I'm going. So she was eager to follow me. I've learned from working in retail that when you specifically outline a piece of merchandise you'd like to inquire about, they stop thinking you're a shoplifter and walk along with you. So I follow her because I don't know what I'm doing in this store. And she says, "Okay, all right. Well, what kind of shoes are you looking for? Are you looking for like something flirty, something awesome, something trendy?" I've never bought clothes based off of trends. I'm just looking for something white, preferably with a little sparkle added. Oh, I don't know. So she looks through this wall of shoes. I'm noticing that these shoes would not fit me, but out of good faith I'm letting her look anyway. And the second thing I'm noticing is that these shoes are fugly. There's no chance in hell I would be caught dead in taupe shoes with a tote bag. Yes, the shoes came with a tote bag, because when I think taupe, I think tote. So as I'm looking at this haute tote taupe couture, She informs me they don't carry any white shoes outside of little tiny nurse shoes. But then she says, we do have necklaces. Now I turn around. I see that there's a kiosk of necklaces, and they are very reasonably priced. They were $2. I was thinking, wow, what a bargain. That is fantastically priced, and they look good. They do not look cheap. They don't look like they came from a factory in some third world nation. It doesn't look like a factory full of underpaid children made these. It looks like something that a celebrity would wear. So I'm looking at the pretty jewels and I'm thinking, oh, this is kind of like what Beyonce would wear. This is something that Penelope Cruz would wear. This is something that Salma Hayek would wear. And I'm thinking, maybe $2 isn't so bad. Maybe I'll pick one. They're a little on the lean side, small-wise, but $2, you can't complain. And I tilted my head up, thinking, up here, maybe there's going to be more jewelry. And I looked, and there was a wall of very sexy lingerie. In fact, most of what I saw comes from the Fredericks of Hollywood catalog. So I looked at the wall of sexy lingerie, and I rubbed my eyes because I was thinking, I'm probably still blind from having gone through Justice. These bras look a little on the small side. So I said, excuse me, miss, do you carry anything above a D? Maybe? A little? And she looked at me like I had just thrown up. And she said, ew, no, we stopped doing that like a while ago, okay? Like, maybe we can get you into like a 30-60, but like that's in the granny penny section. We don't actually cater to that. Now this woman, by the way, had so much body weight on her she could have easily fit into an E or an F. So to think that she would look at a bra within her own size as that tipped me off. Something was wrong with where this conversation's going. So I said, okay, if you don't mind my asking, what is your demographic? I assumed this was for young women. Maybe because I'm like 27, I'm a little old for this, or are you aiming like 21, 22? Oh my god, no. See, we cater to tweens and teens. Is the noise that I made as I was having a small coronary. When I picked myself up off the floor, I was like, I'm sorry, can I have that again, please? Well, yeah, I mean, we totally, like, cater to, like, our demographic. We're different from Justice. Like, Justice, they cater to the 6 to 11 crowd. We cater to 11 to 16. I had to restrain myself from not choking this bitch in the store. I had to ask her, I was like, could you please explain to me how in good faith you expect an 11-year-old to wear a bustier? And she was like, well, tweens and teens are like into, no, time out. I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear that. You are going to tell me what in God's name would make you put an 11-year-old little girl in a bustier? Okay, you need to chill. Here's how we do things. We know what's going on. We know what's hot. And we know how to tell tweens and teens what they need to know is hot and how to think it's hot. No! So I explained to this moron that at 11 years old, you should be as far the fuck away from a bustier as possible. So she said, we had like 2 other women in your age group like acting like this earlier. We know why you're acting up. It's okay. We know it's a little shocking, but this is what tweens are about now. No, I refuse to accept that. That is not what tween girls is about. So I told her about when I was 11 years old. When I was 11, I was into Barbie, Pokemon cards. Most risque thing I did at 11 years old, I put one of those little troll pencil toppers onto a pencil, and I stuck it in a pencil sharpener. That's it. That's it. That was all I was about at 11 years old, okay? Just Barbie, and I told her, like, 11 years old, you should still think The Little Mermaid is a good film. You should still think that Beauty and the Beast is an interesting film. Not that I'm allowing that in my house, because if you notice the subcontext, Ariel is a stalker, and Belle puts herself into an abusive relationship with a man she tries to change in order to get out and away from Gaston, who is a rapist in the making. But nonetheless, when you're 11 years old, you should think Disney is awesome. And by Disney, I mean animation. You should think that Aladdin is a wonderful film. You should be into Frozen, be into Brave. You should not be into Bustier as you do this. She heard the word Disney and she said, yeah, we have some of that for the immature set. There's like a closet over there, but we do carry some of that. And a little of Barbie if you're still into that. Now this woman told me the God's honest truth at this point. I looked behind her ass, which was a very big feat. But I looked behind her ass, and sure enough, there is a closet in this store with Disney. I saw Mickey Mouse, and I saw Tinkerbell. I saw Mickey Mouse and Tinkerbell. I saw Mickey Mouse and Tinkerbell on a bustier for a little girl. Is this part of the Walt Disney World Junior Slut Collection? Have we gone this far as a society? Do we now have the starter hoe kit in Mickey Mouse? I thought I was going to have a heart attack and die in this store. I told this woman, you, as in your face, you are a pedophile selling sexy lingerie to little Powerpuff Girls. Tried to convince me this was trendy. I tried to convince her this is illegal. So I tried to get away from her so I could get my cell phone out and call the police. Tried to get me to see the rest of the store, and she was like, well, you know, we have other merchandise here too. Like, we've got dresses, and we've got clothes, and we've got Marvel for those who are like a little bit edgy. By the way, if you are a comic book fan and somebody comes up to you and says the word edgy and Captain America at the same time, it is very much a workout not to choke a bitch. As she tried to walk me over to the Marvel section, I couldn't help but notice that this was a special Rue 21. See, most Rue 21s are like a store. This one is a special store because they had an in-house DJ that day. He had his 18-inch lawn pedo dreads touching his nipples. And I believe his former job was following around the Backstreet Boys and Spice Girls and Beyonce and Missy Elliott back in the 90s, and following them around going, yeah, Dark Child Productions, yeah, what, yeah, she like that, Dark Child. I recognize the voice. So as I'm, trying to get away, I can't help but notice that he's in front of a record player, which 95% of the people in that store are not yet old enough to know what one looks like or how to operate it. So I viewed this as a moot point. A mute point to go with a toop bag. That was hoot. And I hear him like scratching the record, and I hear this music that I had previously ignored on the overhead. Maybe because being born in the 80s, I'm used to techno by now, which is why I didn't freak out when Vocaloid became a thing. But like, she's trying to talk to me, and I'm trying to use my cell phone to call the police, and all I hear is, Everybody, everybody. Which I realized they were upping the volume on specifically to see if they could bust out those little veins in my head so I'd have a stroke and die without actually calling the police on these clear pedophiles. I went to several other Rue 21 establishments and I realized that it was not just the Lexington branch, the entire chain of Justice and Rue 21 now cater sexual clothes to minors. As I was finally able to leave the Fat Wonder, she came up to me and said, "You know, if it helps any, our models are not as young as the people who come into the store. Okay? Like, the models that we aim our clothing at, they're kind of old for this, because they're like 13 and 17. Like, those on the poster up there, they're like 15 and 17, so they're like a little old. And I know a lot of you women, you like freak out, because like, you know, you're like, oh my god, why are you selling a bra to somebody who like, ew, doesn't have boobs yet? And we're like, hey, we know they don't have boobs yet. Okay, it's not our fault. They're just not mature enough yet. And, you know, we're just waiting for them to just grow their boobs so that they can fit the bras better. For those of you who either never went through it or failed 5th grade biology, let me let you know. It is true, the models on the posters wouldn't have boobs yet. Because at 11 years old, which is the target demographic, the reason why you don't have boobs yet is because puberty hasn't hit you. Do you see what I'm saying? Puberty is the reason why you would have boobs. And if you haven't hit puberty yet, and you are not yet above the height of a Powerpuff Girl, and you are not yet as old as the name Rue 21, you should not be wearing sexy underwear! My advice to anybody watching this film, please boycott these 2 stores. If you could just promise me that you won't shop at a store run by pedophiles, and old pedophiles at that, I would be eternally grateful.